Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.
You say you want a revolution. Well, you know, we all want to change.
Welcome back to the second hour of the Alice Stewart Show, 7:06 on a very big day for our nation as we mark the 13th anniversary of September 11th. And it's a tragic day, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those who are victims, family members, and know loved ones who were killed or harmed in that tragic shooting. In New York City, we just spoke with Tanya Powers, who is in New York City at Ground Zero, where they are preparing for a ceremony this morning. They will be reading the names, and they will have moments of silence to mark the precise times of the tragedy and open up the new memorial that marks that historic day. And also on this day, we are reacting to and getting thoughts and comments on the president's speech last night, the nationally televised primetime address by President Obama on ISIS and the growing threat. He says that he will approve U.S. airstrikes in Syria and will target ISIS wherever they exist. And here to get reaction on this, we're joined with Senator John Boozman. Senator, good morning.
Hey, Alice, how are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you and all that you do. And I want to get your thoughts on the president's address last night, saying that he is going to authorize airstrikes, and it seems as though now he has certainly upped his seriousness of ISIS.
No, I think, during these difficult times, it's important that we stand together as a nation. And so the fact that the president is acknowledging that ISIS is a significant threat, it's not the JV team, that it's a threat not only to the Middle East but also to the homeland, is very, very important. The airstrikes, I'm very much in favor of. Anything we can do to degrade their ability to wage war is a good thing. Also, the arming the moderates, I think that's a good idea. We're going to have to be very careful and make sure that they're vetted appropriately, that the arms don't get into the wrong hands. So that's going to be difficult, but it's something that we need to do. And then also building the coalitions that we need. Not only among our allies outside of the Middle East, but the Middle East is going to need to step up. And so this is their homeland, and so we're going to be helpful, but they need to step up and provide a lot of resources.
Certainly, and that's one thing that he made quite clear. He also outlined what he calls a 4-point plan to deal with this, and one being to conduct a systematic campaign of airstrikes against the terrorists. Secondly, to increase support to forces fighting these terrorists on the ground. Third, to continue to draw on our substantial counterterrorism capabilities to prevent ISIL attacks. And fourth, continue providing humanitarian assistance to innocent civilians who have been displaced by this terror organization. Your thoughts on this 4-point plan? Is it enough? Is it feasible?
Well, I think it is feasible, and I do think it is a good step in the right direction. The truth will be in the details. It's easy to have the rhetoric and things, but I think it's a reasonable plan, and now the challenge will be is following through. But this is a bunch. Anytime you have a situation where you have people not beheading people with a sword, but actually hacking their heads off with butcher knives and things. We haven't talked enough about the minorities in the area that have lived there for thousands of years, the Christians that have been persecuted that have lived there for thousands of years, and now this group has come in and really practiced genocide in many areas. So they have shown their true colors. And I think that the 4-point plan is a reasonable plan. Again, the truth will be in the details as we sort it all out.
And the idea, and he made mention of it, as you indicated, that to have a broad consensus of support and buy-in from other nations and enabling this region to allow the Iraqis do what they must do for themselves. Do you see that being possible?
Well, I think that's very important. And we forget that it doesn't matter what profession you're in or when an American's overseas, the whole world looks to us for leadership. And so we have to provide leadership. We don't have to provide all of the funding. We don't have to provide all of the materials, but we have to provide leadership. And so I think it is very, very important to build these coalitions. The other thing that I would encourage him to do, and I think he has the power to do it as Commander-in-Chief for a short time anyway, to go forward, I would encourage him to go to Congress, because that also builds legitimacy. And as I said earlier, it's important that we as a nation stand together. And that's just another thing, that you can point to, that Congress is with you, the President's with you. It shows the rest of the world that we're united as a nation. And I think that's very, very important as we have problems like this.
And Senator, I want to ask you one question about something he mentioned last night about ISIL. And I feel it was a politically made statement. I want to play this about his comments on ISIL and get your feedback.
ISIL is not Islamic. No religion condones the killing of innocents, and the vast majority of ISIL's victims have been Muslim. And ISIL is certainly not a state. It was formerly al-Qaeda's affiliate in Iraq and has taken advantage of sectarian strife and Syria's civil war to gain territory on both sides of the Iraq-Syrian border.
Senator, your thoughts on him saying that ISIL is not Islamic?
Well, I think it's ridiculous, and what we have to remember is that ISIL is a group that there's many other of these groups, and what they're doing is arguing theologically among themselves about various things within their theology, but they're all unified in having a hate of the West, and having a hate of anybody that doesn't believe exactly like they believe. And so, that, as far as I'm concerned, makes no sense at all. I mean, this is Islamist extremism at its worst. And so we need to confront it. We need to show that there's, when it comes on our doorstep, that we're not going to tolerate it. And that's really the only thing that they understand. That's why Israel has been so successful in living among all of these neighbors that have a similar feeling about them. They don't mess with them in the sense that they know that Israel's going to come back and pound them and punish them if they do that. So sadly, that's the world that we live in, but that's the only thing that they respect.
And Senator, on today, on 9/11, 13 years after the terrorist attacks on our nation, do you think America is safer than we were 13 years ago?
I think that we have, a lot more things in place, a lot more mechanisms of dealing with it, being able to talk to each other as far as our agencies and things like that. And there's been a lot of good things in that regard. The world right now, though, is a very, very dangerous place, and we've seen that in so many areas. We talk about the Middle East, but we have this Islamic extremism going on in Africa and just all over the place. And so we've got those things to contend with. The Russians are out of control, and so there's lots of things going out. China is rebuilding their military at an alarming state. So it is a very, very dangerous place. I do think that we've made some gains in our abilities of our agencies to do a good job of trying to track and talk to each other better than before. But I don't know that I would say that this is a safer place.
And one last question. Moving forward, the president outlined his plan. He has said he would like consent of Congress. What's the feeling there amongst your colleagues there in Washington in terms of how to respond and move forward with the plan the president outlined?
Well, he wants consent in a very narrow area, arming the moderates in the area, and I think that he'll get that. I think that he should ask for consent across the board in the sense of the bombing and things like that. But I think there's tremendous support for realizing that this isn't the JV team, that this is an army, and that has swept through. I would argue right now, if it hadn't been for our air intervention, that they would have probably defeated the Kurds to a large extent, and then be right, on the gates of Baghdad, if not inside there right now. So this is something that has to be dealt with. I do think that going to Congress across the board, for all of these things, would be a good idea in the sense it gives more legitimacy. It shows our allies that we're very serious as a nation. And right now, they're sitting back. They just don't know what to expect out of us because we've been so wishy-washy in so many different areas regarding, how we respond to things. And so I think that would be a good idea to go to Congress.
All right. Senator John Boozman, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, as always.
Senator, have a great day. We will take a break. When we come back, more feedback from our delegation there in Washington. Congressman Tim Griffin joins us with his thoughts on the president's speech. All of this coming up on The Alice Stewart Show.
The Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.